so much. Sanbanan, Molwen, Friamore, Dumelang, etc., etc. Good morning, everyone. It is so, you should see yourselves from my view. It is so stunning to see you. It's so beautiful. The way you presented yourself, you look absolutely stunning. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. We are officially going to open the program now. We're running a few minutes late, but we're community development. What happens in a community? African time. So if we have that in mind, we should be fine throughout the day. Running a few minutes late, and we also will have our guest speaker who will be giving us a keynote address. Join us as we run the program. So if we shuffle things around, don't be alarmed. It's all good. We even have a representative already here, so it's nothing to be alarmed about. I would just like to say, sit in, soak it in. It's all about you, but it's also about your time to reflect. Reflect on everything you're going to hear today. Reflect on who you are as a practitioner. Especially reflect on the oath you're taking. Soak it in, let it sink in, reflect, reflect, reflect. So maybe a bit of housekeeping before we have a proper opening. We know where our bathrooms are, do we? This door, or even that door, to there somewhere. I can't even say left or right, but it's right behind us on the other side, and I think the gentleman is through the corridor. So that's our housekeeping rules. Please, can you make sure that your cell phones are on silent? I'll give you a second to do it if you haven't done so yet. All good? And that on that note, I'd love to call upon our beautiful, she looks so stunning, Head of Department, Prof. Marishan, please.
I think she thinks I look beautiful because I normally never wear shoes like this. But I wear that today for you guys. It is really a big honor to be able to say welcome to your oath taking today. It is your day, and so I'm going to not observe protocols. I'm actually going to start with you and say welcome. And I agree, looking at you, I'm almost a little bit emotional because you are our future and you look it. So today's an oath taking, and there are two words in there, oath. An oath means it's a promise, it's a declaration that you are dedicating your life to make other people's lives and our world slightly better. And we need that. You are saying an oath, and you are saying, this is who I am in this world. This is who I want to be. This is my choice. That is what I want to do. And that does not only mean when you're in the field, it means that's the person you choose to be in everyday life. So today's not just a tick off exam. It's a really big day in who you are and who you will be in our society. Because the second word is taking, oath taking. You're taking on this pledge, this promise that I want to dedicate my life to make the lives of people around me better. And I can promise you this, if you do pledge your life, and that is how I want to live my life, your life immediately becomes better. Because it's a wonderful feeling to say I make a better impact, not a worse impact, on the lives of the people around me. And that starts with all of you. So welcome, students. Enjoy this day. I want to echo and say just drink it in, remember it, take photos, talk about it, because that is the switch in your lives. And now I will go over to protocols. First of all, we're going to say welcome to Dr. Suleiman later today. I have heard that even the guards on campus are waiting for him to arrive. We are so privileged to have somebody who has, I don't know if he ever made a pledge, but he's been living his life according to what you are saying that you will do. So more appropriate, we can't have. We have Asha here. She's a volunteer at Gift of the Givers. And thank you. And she's an old UWC student, I learned today. So welcome and so much thankfulness from our side that you spend your morning with us. Then we have from our faculty, quite important people. We have the faculty manager here. Then we have Prof. Sukker, community engagement, and Prof. Florence, learning and teaching. And they are, I want you don't see them often, so you've got to really look at them. They are really key in helping us to have the resources and the ability to provide you with spaces and quality of learning and teaching, and spaces to practice the skills that you will use in the future. So apart from welcome, thank you. They also check up on us. So really, we try to do our best because they check up. So, but welcome here. And they're very nice people, and I'm very happy that you can see, because they key in what happens during your time at the university. I also would like to say a warm welcome to the people online. I presume it would be family and friends, but also stakeholders that support the work that we do in the department. And now, my home department, the Department of Social Service Professions. Today's, for me, as the HOD, a highlight, because social work and community development are sitting in this room today. And we're taking hands because we are two professions with the same goal, the same dream. We just do different things, but we have the same dream. And with that being said, welcome Professor Karelse, I'm so sorry. Professor Karelse, our Deputy HOD, and my colleagues there at the back, your lecturers, and Ms. Lamini here, Mr. Smith, Mr. Aris, Dr. Takalani. I'm not going to, I shouldn't do that because I don't wear my glasses. I can't really see everybody. But all our colleagues that are dedicating their lives and their tasks is to educate you and to empower you to be that change. Thank you, colleagues, and welcome. And then my colleagues from the department representing social work, thank you for making the time, and thank you for being here, and just celebrate what you will be doing today. So with that being said, a warm welcome, sit back, be alert, and take note of this day in your lives.
So there's a second declaration. We both don't wear heels. If you see me walking barefoot, don't ask questions. Understand that I could only do it for like 15 minutes and then I was out. Thank you so much for the very warm welcome. I think I want to pick on something that she said about dreaming. What are you dreaming of in this career? You don't have to answer, but you should constantly ask yourself, where is my dream? What direction is my dream going to take me? And I almost want to ask you a question, but I won't, because I might get answers that are not so holy. About ethics, which is why our next speaker will speak onto that specific field. You know, sometimes we dream of getting careers where we can then get side, you know, that quick cash to fast track the queue. Sometimes we dream of such, I hope that's not your dream, really. But Prof. Karse, our deputy head of department, is here to speak to you about ethics. Please pay special attention. People have been arrested. People have had their licenses revoked. People have lost their jobs permanently, not just that one where you're at, but you can't be employed anywhere in the country for unethical behavior. So it's very, very important that we understand the value and role of ethics, and therefore, Prof, please.
I hope I'm not going to lose my job for being late. I do apologize. We have a situation in the department where one of our colleagues is going through a really difficult time. So I just needed to contain the colleague before I came. So it is an absolute pleasure for me and a privilege to stand here before you, the future architects of our communities, our BCD students. Good morning, students, colleagues, our deputy deans, and Dr. Suleiman in his absence. He will join us shortly. I just need to catch my breath because I ran from the parking.
That is dedication.
Dr. Lamini started by saying people have lost their jobs due to ethics issues. Now, I've lost my job for standing up against injustice and issues that I thought was unethical at the time. If you invite me to one of your lectures, I will speak to that. I've also been disciplined, not at UWC. I've been behaving here, Deputy Deans. I've also been disciplined for standing up against injustice. And that's the second invitation for a guest lecture. Now my brief is to speak to you about ethical practice as a community development practitioner. And sometimes we pitch these talks maybe a bit too high. Speaking to students often in the context when they exit, when they graduated. But I want to bring it closer to where you're at now. Because now, starting today, you will be registered and have your registration with the council as practitioners. So I would like to believe that you chose the Bachelor of Community Development because you have a degree of awareness, and perhaps like me, you have experienced deep inequality, poverty, and vulnerabilities, systemic injustice, and you refuse to look away. Like I have refused to look away, you may also refuse to look away. And you want to make a difference. You want to interrogate these issues that plagues our society, not only locally, but also globally. And we'll hear from Dr. Suleiman when he arrives. And you want to make an impact. I feel so privileged to be part of UWC and doing research in this institution, because all that we do in terms of teaching and learning, in terms of research, we want to intentionally impact our students, your development, and our communities. Choosing to pursue a degree in community development certainly puts you on the right path to making that tangible difference. But as you stand on the edge of entering the field, I want to caution you that perhaps the international textbooks that we use don't warn you about. That entering the field and the sector of community development can be a dangerous place if people only want to do good, and good intentions is the key. It's not enough. Good intentions alone is not enough for a significant impact. And you hear me speak about impact quite a lot. When you enter the field for the first time, you will carry an invisible backpack. Inside it is your passion, your university education, and your desire to help. But if you are not careful, that backpack will also contain something toxic, and that is an unexpected savior complex. We want to change the world. Often when we ask BCD and social work students when they enter, why do you want to do social work or BCD? They say, to help people. And that is good, but that is not all of it. It is very complex. Without a rigorous, lived, ethical framework, your desire to help can easily turn into paternalism. Your eagerness to solve problems can accidentally silence the very people that you want to help. As students, you are being taught to analyze communities using 3 distinct lenses. Can I ask you what those lenses are? Micro, meso, and macro, right? So at the micro level is the ethics of your presence. When you enter the community as a student, practitioner, or researcher, your presence changes the dynamic. It should change the dynamic. I always say to students, as UWC students in work integrated learning, in field of practice for social work students, we don't stand back for any other institution student. We take the lead. We command our presence in those spaces that we share with students from other universities. So, your presence must be dynamic. Ethical practice starts with radical humility and a deep courtesy. Courtesy towards the communities that we work with and to your fellow colleagues. Your fellow colleagues in BCD, in social work, in other institutions that share that space with you at the agencies. It requires you to respect local time. That sounds very hypocritical, seeing that I was late. Local knowledge and local schedules. Community members are not just data points. It's not just for you to engage with those community members in order for you to have a good mark in your assignments. An ethical practitioner recognizes that local community members' time is just as valuable as the professors at the university's time. Also, never extract a story, a photograph, a piece of data just to look good in your classroom presentations. You must have informed consent. At the meso level, you are required, you have acquired knowledge and may have a very good understanding of developmental theories. But when you walk into a community meeting, you might feel tempted to act as the smartest person in the room. I always say it's very dangerous if I'm the smartest person in the room. I don't like it at all. I don't enter those rooms. So when you walk into a community meeting, you might feel tempted to act as that smart person in the room. This is an ethical failure. Ethical development is firmly grounded in a bottom-up approach, and I'm sure your lecturers have taught you this from your first year. It values organic development over pre-packaged outside solutions. You don't come with your own narrative, with your own ideas of what this community needs. Your job is not to build a project that serves as a monument, and when you leave, it falls flat. The community must own the project that you started. Your job is to facilitate. It is, if a project is truly ethical, the community will claim total ownership. True success means that when a project succeeds, the community looks at it and says, we did it ourselves, not the student had done this. At the macro level, you will be required to challenge power, not just to manage it. Development does not happen in a vacuum. It happens in spaces broken by historical imbalances, discrimination, and structural inequalities. As student practitioners, you must look at your work through a post-colonial and an eco-social lens. Ask yourselves the hard questions. Is this intervention empowering a selected elite group in the community while silencing others, such as women, youth, marginalized minorities? If your project does not actively dismantle inequality, it implicitly reinforces it. Students, when you are deep in your field work, the line between right and wrong is really clear. You will feel or you will face complex political dynamics and funding pressures. Oh, I hope there's at least 2 lectures that covers political dynamics, because it can become so very complex. When the path gets blurry, lean heavily on these pillars that I'm going to share with you as I close. Respect the self-determination of the community. They have the absolute right to reject your ideas. They have the right to tell you to leave in the middle of your project, and you will have to leave. You are an advisor, never the boss. Your work must deliver immediate, tangible impact on the ground, not just for a grade in your world project. And then do no harm. Anticipate unintended consequences of your presence. And finally, demand radical inclusivity. Ensure that the burdens and benefits of development initiatives are shared fairly across the community. My challenge to you today is to change the way you measure success as a student. Often we measure success as students by the marks that you get, the A, the cum laude, the pass, and so on. Do not just aim to get top marks for world tasks and to get the praises of your lecturers and your world supervisors. Aim for the depth of trust that you have gained and built with community members and community partners. Measure your success by willingness to listen rather than to speak, and your courage to commit when you do not have the answers. Your BCD degree will give you a map of development theory, but your ethical integrity is the compass, is the guide that will keep you from getting lost. Go out in the field, students, with an open mind, quiet voices, and unshakable commitment to human dignity. The world does not need more saviors. It needs ethical partners. And with that, the Department of Social Service Professions wish you best of luck and trust that you will continue to do us proud and that you will engage and impact communities out there. Thank you.
I feel like we need to just take it in. Like really, really just stop, pause, and take in. I was writing notes until I stopped because I almost like was recording the entire lecture. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Prof, isn't she in the wrong program?
I'm a little bit, yeah,
I'm
confused.
worried now. I think we need to do staff reshuffling. We need her in community development, particularly practice modules
But we
and
might be
skills.
fighting then.
No, it's fine. We can fight.
Okay.
I was born ready. Thank you, thank you. I cannot say it enough that this, you've actually condensed what we tried to teach over years in a couple of minutes. And you've brought in all the important things. We teach about, ethical practice, not just as people who come in to tell, to impose, to show. I especially like the fact that she touched on the community being empowered because they are the custodians of their own knowledge, of their own development. And she went straight to that. We can go home now. I mean, after this, if you think about it, if you got her lecture, if this, am I being recorded? Am I live? Am I famous somewhere? Please play this again if it's recorded. I need you to listen to this over and over and over again. Ethical practice is also not something that you can learn once off by listening to it. It's something that you've got to remind yourself again and again. So that's why I emphasize that please be here right now, taking it all in, take a moment to reflect, but keep revisiting. Not just what she has said, what Prof. Kausa has said, but everything that will be shared with you today. I truly, truly encourage you to do that. So, because we are community development, and we work according to community, right? That's what she said. I remember. I was like, she's the best to start this. According to this community, in this program today, we are going to slot in someone that is not on your current program if you've seen it, because the community does what it wants, when it wants. Mr. Gift, our faculty manager, could you please come and say a few words to our students?
Good morning. When we have meetings, we say you are on mute, so we can't hear you. Good morning. All right, that's much better. So mine will just be very quick. My first job when I started out in the higher education environment was in the graduation office, and that was at Wits University. And part of my role in the graduation office was to plan the graduation ceremonies for the institution. That means all the faculties. I was not belonging to a particular faculty, but it was for the entire institution. And each year, Wits University at the time had 2 graduations. I think UWC also has that. We used to have December, and we also used to have the April-March period. So while I worked in the graduation office, I would observe how the students would graduate after they complete their studies and walk across the stage. And for me at the time, it was quite inspiring because I just had my matric. It was my first job, and so I didn't yet complete my qualification. But I was inspired to see the students walk across the stage, and it inspired me so much that I also eventually wanted to complete my own qualification so that I too can walk across the stage years later. So you can imagine the excitement. And eventually, at some point, I too also graduated. Now, after that graduation, I also felt exactly what other students felt when they walked across the stage. But what I realized over the years is that while Wits University held its graduation ceremonies, and our cohort of students that graduated at the time, I think we were about 200 of us in that particular program, what I realized was that UJ, which was just the same road on Empire Road, also had students graduating in the same year with the same program as well. Not just UJ, but even the University of Pretoria and all the other 26 traditional universities within South Africa. So what I mean to say is that while the graduation ceremony was an exciting and a celebratory event, it started becoming somewhat sort of like something that you now say, well, it's no longer as exciting. And the reason why I say that is this. With the current youth unemployment stats that we have, you will realize that your qualification is not just as special because it's not just you who has it. Many others also have it. So I know with BCD, it's offered also at UNISA, for example, and also University of Free State. While you're going to graduate, they also get graduating students with the same program. And so there's quite a lot of you. And when you look at the job market, there's not enough jobs for everyone that receives the qualification. So what am I trying to say? When you complete your degree, normally the excitement is about what the world now has to offer you. You know, you get your degree, you expect to get a job, and you expect to be this amazing person and, you know, obtain certain titles in the industry of work. But actually, completing your degree only means that you now have all the tools that you need to only start working with those tools. So what I mean to say is that over the 4 years that you've been learning and that you've been trained in this program, you've only been collecting tools. Think of it like a farmer. You get a spade in year 1, you get a garden fork in year 2, you start working with tractors in year 3, and perhaps now you get some land in year 4 for you to now start using the tools that you have to start making use of that land. So you only have the tools to work, but not necessarily that the world owes you the job. Does that make sense? So, in other words, your expectation from this program is for you to serve and not for the world to serve you. I would also like to inform you that you will only find true success when you purpose in your heart or resolve that you are going out there to serve and not to be served. So when you take your oath, you must promise to serve. There is nothing much, even in the oath when you read it, about you. It's all about others, what you are going to do out there, how you are going to serve others, nothing about you at all. So in order to serve well, you must serve with compassion. Now, there's 2 words. There's empathy, there's compassion. Empathy is when you realize and sympathize with others, depending on what they're going through. But compassion, that's a very strong word. It's another step up on empathy. And most people say that usually it's only mothers that can actually really define what compassion is. But compassion in a nutshell is, if I'm hungry today, you will be as hungry as I am. You will feel it just the same way that I feel it, to a point that it will also drive you to make a change and to impact my life, to sort of eradicate the hunger or the poverty. So when you go out there, you need to serve with compassion, because you will only be able to impact your communities when you have the compassion for the community. You need to be able to promise yourself when you take your oath later that I will serve with compassion and not just go out there expecting that you need to get this and the other from the world. So yes, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be fruits from your labor of these 4 years, but what I'm trying to say is that you need to realize that you have tools in your hand and that the community is actually looking at you, because unlike themselves, you've got the capabilities to do more than they can because you are trained to do so. And so I'd like you to just take a moment to realize the importance of the tools that you have, the BCD program. And you need to start thinking about, how will I use these tools to change and impact the community out there? And when I go out there, am I going out there to be served, or am I going out there to serve? So that is the few words that I wanted to leave with you this morning, that you go out there to serve, but not only to serve, but to serve with compassion. Thank you so much.
Is it about time to ask for free t-shirts from faculty for the program? Something, Nyana, as they go and serve in the budget for the near future? I mean, we should take advantage of these people and these situations. Yeah, this is part of the faculty serving us, isn't it? Please put in a word or two. You're not looking carefully. There are no t-shirts here. You know? Thank you so much. You know, a recurring word keeps coming. Serve. Be there for people. A recurring thing keeps coming up. And I want you to ask yourself, what does serving mean to you? When do you get to a point where you lay down your preferences? Your preferences, importantly. You know, a couple of students in my third year class came to me because they were worried that they're going to go to dysfunctional communities and dysfunctional organizations, and they haven't got time for that. And I was like, this is when I love being a teacher, because dysfunctionality is what we thrive for in our program. That's where we thrive. That's where we excel. That's where we do exceptionally well when things don't look according to how we would like them to. When things don't seem the way we want them to be. So when you serve, you don't serve in conditions that are conducive for your preferences. I need you to take that in. Like, you don't serve because it's convenient, because it's easy, because it's close to your res, because it's an English-speaking community and therefore you speak English. One of the things you're going to have to learn is other languages as a community development practitioner. Be very intentional about that. Pick Afrikaans, pick isiXhosa, pick whatever language you get to be serving at. So serving is deeper than just, you know, you there showing up, filling in your hours for the day, taking selfies from time to time. It's so much more. In fact, it actually gets to a point where you start seeing yourself lay down your own life so others could have a life. So please take that into consideration as you listen, ask and reflect. What is it about me as a CDP that's being shaped in today's oath-taking ceremony? Do we need a 2-minute breather? You look like you need one. 2 minutes? I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll give you a 2-minute breather, think about it, and then if we I asked if we were live because now we'll be showing some kind of, you know, when a movie stops halfway and then there's some kind of advertisement or something. We need to upgrade. Faculty manager? In our faculty, we need to have videos that we can play. So 2 minutes and then we'll just convene. So you can chit-chat with your neighbor, tell them how you're feeling. Someone was singing, "If you don't know me by now." Who's that? Where were they? Did I? You will ever. Who was singing? Someone was singing. I thought someone wants to lead us back in chorus. How? There I was getting excited because are we going to get a song or two to lead us back? Colleagues, let us start. May we? Like we declare and we keep on declaring, we are community development. We do things according to us. We are grassroots. Remember top down? We are down. And we're doing things according to down. So would like to also give our Deputy Dean of Community Engagement a few minutes to speak to you. Prof. Surker, please take the podium.
So good morning, students. I must say this was a real surprise, but I'm really honored to be here. Excuse the voice, I'm just recovering from a cold. But I think last year I was invited to speak also Department of Social Service Professionals. I think you started the initiative, it was a club, community club. I think it was spearheaded by Mr. Safedin and colleagues and students. And in that particular speech, I've indicated that one of my favorite departments has been the social work department. In the old days, we used to call that, right? And it is just extremely excited to see the Bachelor of Community Development as a department that leveraged off developments as social work developed in the particular portfolios. I remember a few months ago, actually a year and a half ago, when our old rector, Professor Tyrone Pretorius, was walking down the social service department, and it was occupational therapy, which is my home department. He was walking in between the two buildings, and he was indicating to his spatial planner, so where are we going to position this new department and this new program? And then I realized that this definitely is going to become a reality, because your particular program is so needed in South Africa. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the initiatives of the faculty, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between service delivery in a community versus community development. So it's words from the heart and words based on my experience. So in terms of the faculty's vision for community development related activities, you do know that we are involved in community outreaches. We're involved in community outreaches in areas that is underserved. So it would be communities in urban or peri-urban areas. And believe it or not, even in urban areas, there are communities that are underserved. So I do think that some of you that's been on our community outreaches are aware of areas such as Santa Cruz, parts of Genadendal, as well as areas such as the Dwars River Valley. And I do believe that some of you will be placed in those areas to initiate some activities. If you do think about why is that areas, let's just say, not really as serviced or developed as others, then you need to think about what is the cause of this. You need to go way back. Now, some of you might not remember all the ins and outs of the apartheid system, right? Your parents and your grandparents will be able to have real vivid memories of that. But that has got a huge impact in terms of our service delivery currently in the Western Cape. And we talk about apartheid architecture or geography. So what that has caused, it has caused the challenges that we are faced with today. And even if people talk about the influx of different communities into areas of Western Cape or Northern Cape or Johannesburg, etc., it actually stems back to 80 or 90 years of apartheid architecture and geography and ideology, which has caused certain communities to actually operate in the way they are operating today. So with your particular course, right, and your program, you are being let's just say, equipped with the skills to identify how that old way of thinking and architecture actually impacts the living spaces today. So an example that I'd like to talk about, and I had the privilege to actually present at the whole society approach conference last year in Saldanha. It was spearheaded by one of your lecturers, Mr. Smith. And in that particular conference, with the whole society approach, you can see that in order to solve the problems of today, you need to have not just one system, which we think health system, involved in service delivery, but you need to have an entire community, civil service, NGOs all work together. And I can testify to that, and I'm going to talk about 3 examples that I presented at that conference. So a particular project that I was involved in for Santa Cruz, where we developed a peer mentoring program, where we enhanced the life skills and work-related skills of individuals, that never finished high school. I don't know if you heard of the concept known as NEETs, not in employment, not in training, and not educated. So we ran a program with people during the COVID period 2019, 2020, 2021, and we wanted to see the effectiveness thereof. We found out that in order to enable individuals, for example, to reduce substance use in a particular community, that you actually need to go down to what the essence is in terms of what the community identifies as the issue. And in that particular initiative, we identified that spatial planning in terms of recreational facilities was actually the cause of why individuals started using substances, right? Teenage pregnancies and so forth. And we had to look at the root of the problem to kind of manage it. That particular program, even though it had good end results, was not sustainable because we never had buy-in from the NGOs and civil services afterwards. So that's a big lesson that we need to know, is that whatever programs you're developing in your areas, you need to think about the sustainability. 2 other programs that I'm going to quickly just talk about is one that we've developed in the Kalicha area, and there we try to do a little bit of a better job in that we involved civil service in this work skills development program with individuals with disability. And in that particular program, we actually got social auxiliary professionals to play a role in that particular program. We had church leaders play a role in the program, and it's still running today. However, we are not certain whether it will still be running tomorrow, because we need to get input from the community on the effectiveness of going forward. The last program that I want to talk about, which is actually, I think, one of the flagships that I'm sure some colleagues around the table here would be able to remember. The days of Genadendal, there was an organization known as Mind Over Matter. Mr. Safadine, I don't know if you remember that organization. But that organization started off from a thorough needs analysis conducted on behalf of the community of Genadendal, together with some colleagues from UWC. And they've undergone a process known as conscientization, where people in the particular community thought, what is the cause of our people with disabilities? And that is a big focus there. Why are they still being, kept in the rooms? Why is there no development for these children? And why is that their parents cannot find employment? And the answer to the question was that there had to be some form of a infrastructure put in place to allow that parents to find employment. Now remember, at the start I talked about apartheid geography and architecture. So they identified that the reason why unemployment was an issue, and also why people with disabilities in Genadendal were stigmatized, is because they were not doing anything about the situation. So without UWC coming in and saying this is what you needed to do, this process of conscientization, which I'm sure a lot of you will probably have talked about in your program, enabled the community to identify what they need to do. So what they did is, you can actually Google this. They developed their own caregiver organization known as Mind Over Matter, where they provided opportunities for people with disabilities to actually, come in and they do arts and crafts for the day, but they freed up the parents of those individuals, the children with disability, to actually find employment, which was a huge thing. To us, you might not think it's a huge thing in terms of that services of that particular community developing an organization, but it was a huge achievement for the community, because now people previously disadvantaged and regarded as individuals that should be locked up and so forth, they were now actually provided with an opportunity to socialize, engage in well-being related activities, and the parents could work. Why this was successful, in that the community was empowered, there was compassion, and they could actually facilitate change without UWC's assistance. So UWC over a period of time left, right? The colleagues that worked in the area left, and that organization is standing now for about 10 years on its own. But it would only stand because of the types of principles that's being taught in your program, which is looking at the problem from a grassroots level, from the bottom up, and looking at the problem from an open mind perspective and an open heart perspective. Because you need to understand community service is where we're going in, but is it sustainable? And this is where community development plays a much bigger role, because your focus is on the empowerment of the community itself. So on behalf of the faculty, I wish you all well. I wish you all of the best. And I think in terms of a profession that AI will not replace, it will be your profession. Thank you so much.
We are irreplaceable. You heard that part? You, irreplaceable. Thank you so much, Prof. Suka. Thank you so much. Giving such examples of what actually happens when we truly work to have an impact in the community that doesn't require us to be there. Goes back to Prof. Carlso's message earlier when she said, we tend to make everything about us and we become paternalistic. And therefore, we almost destroy when we think we want to do good. So it's very important that you connect the dots. Yes, we are there, but we are not the ones doing development for the community. No. Did you hear that? We, although our title says Community Development Practitioner, we are not the ones developing the community. It's the community that develops themselves through our presence and facilitation and link to resources, etc. So we're simply facilitators of development, not the people who do the development. It's very important that you realize that as you go there, because I can tell you now, some of you will have sleepless nights, some of the things you'll see in the community will break your heart so much that you'll have trauma, you will want to adopt all the children there or all the dogs there, depending if you're an animal person. There are things that will break your heart. But you can't bring every person home with you. What can you do, therefore? Understand what the key messages you are being given are saying. Empower, facilitate, be there, be compassionate, but don't create dependency. And on that note, we are ready to listen to you take your oath. It's the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Takalani. He will walk you through the process, and then we will have our keynote speaker. Say you're supposed to be.
Good morning. Morning to our guests from faculty and community engagement, colleagues, and most importantly, to you, our community development practitioners. I spent the last 6 months with the students. I've never seen them so focused and so serious. I almost can recognize the people sitting in front of me. But anyways, so I am going to request you to stand up, obviously, for the oath. So you are, it's a bit lengthy, so you're going to bear with me. So you're going to repeat after me. Well, the first thing, obviously, will be your name, so don't repeat my name. Right? And then we'll take it from there. Okay. So say I, Odisani, a second-year community development student who will be registered with the South African Council for Social Service Profession and attending the University of the Western Cape, believe, one, in the uniqueness, responsibility of self-determination, and ultimate worth of every human being, irrespective of status, culture, gender, religion, lifestyle, and other differences. In a society in which all members share the same basic rights, security, opportunities, obligations, and social benefits. In collective human responsibility for the well-being of society, and in the capacity of all people to change, to grow and develop under the stimulating influence of other people. Through own life experiences and through beneficial living conditions. Okay, I therefore solemnly undertake to uphold the values of the profession and shall at all times during my years of study perform all functions as a student community development practitioner and to not overstep this boundary or misrepresent myself or my responsibilities. Conduct myself in such a manner that will be to the benefit of the profession, colleagues, and community development organizations. Serve my fellow human beings and the community, and strive for the enhancement of their effective social functioning. Continually strive for the promotion of social justice and preservation of human dignity. Always adhere to the ethical code of the profession as contained in the Social Service Profession Act, and fully accept the consequences that may result from non-compliance with these provisions. Okay, so now we are going to make the declaration. I declare that I do not have any objections to taking this pledge, which I consider to be binding on my conscience. And I commit myself to upholding this declaration. Thank you. You may be seated.
Down there
That's
is
down
easy.
there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good luck with all the makeup.
You're gonna carry on.
Yeah.
So the student is in the middle.
Okay. So now we are going to call out your names. Obviously, you will come forth as your name is being called. You will go collect your certificates and shake their hands and I guess stand for a photo moment. Okay. So just listen attentively. Okay. Can we have Amara Abraham? Okay. Tumelo Wisdom. Michaela Boltman. Liema. Next up is Michali. Okay. Lihle. Zoe Gloria. Esther. Slulek Olusanda. Yonela Gunuza. Stephanie Aka. Mika. Leila. Miguel Abbott. Jaylee. Andiswa Kumalo. Tukuluho. Israel Mabona. Tsegofatso. Kazimla. Namapelo. Natasha. Gregan. Wuhle. Unati. Juan. Palesa. Kuhle. Mawato. Litabo. Yvonne. Lindo Kuhle. Liseko. Sinenhlanhla. Sinosindiso. Mbalenhle. Manelisi. Sindiswa. Ismail. Ovayo. Isandro. Punati. Ronisha. Esona. Linné. Naledi. Lorna. Andiswa. Anna. Joween. Elmarie. And lastly, Entle.
That is what you call patience.
Okay. Is program director. I think
Are we allowed back?
Yes, you may.
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job, so you may.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I was sitting there thinking, we need a better applause than that. But I'm old school. Like, they call me a fossil in my department because I was born before any of them were born. So, like, I'm a fossil. So my round of applause is literally. And then you people are busy clocking it. How did the clock start? Tell me, where did it come? I just need to know, where did the word come from? Okay, so let's clock it. It doesn't feel real. There's something missing. In fact, I'm going to teach you my old school handshake. Clapping. If I say matsoho, you clap how many times? 4 times. Matsoho? Oh, 5 times. Yeah, 5 times. Matsoho. And then if I say yivale, once. If I say yivale, if I say yivule, if I say yivule, if I say yishwebe, you got it?
No, but we'll try.
One more time. Matsoho 5 times. Yivale, once. Yivale, once. Yivule. Yishwebe. Good. Then let's do matsoho. 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 Yivale. Yivale. Yivule. Yivale. Yivule. Yivule.
I think I found the exam.
Now we know whose qualifications we need to audit. So well done. Thank you very, very much. The greatest news so far, our guest speaker, our keynote address is any minute in the venue. So we are not going to go to the next program because he really is pressed for time. He just landed in Cape Town, especially for you, but he has another commitment on campus. So as soon as he comes in, he takes over the podium after being introduced, and then we'll carry on to the message of support from a student, a fellow student, and then the vote of thanks. So let's try matsoho one more time. Matsoho. Matsoho. Yivale. Yivale. Yishwebe. You got it.
No, I must be honest. I did that first and then I did that. It's always good to look at your environment and be led by the people. So what I did is I watched them.
Yeah.
Hey, that was cool, huh? It was maybe.
So in the spirit of clapping hands, perhaps we could just say at this point, we truly are honored to have every single person that has spent their time to witness you take their oath. Perhaps as we finish, we might be rushed and might not really tell you how honored we are. We are truly honored. We have everyone sitting, not just here for 5 minutes to do what they need to do and leave, but you've been with us. And you must truly understand that every single person here has so many commitments. In fact, they're supposed to be at the postgraduate open day, but they chose to be here. So take yourselves seriously because everyone else is taking you seriously. Everyone else that has so many commitments is taking you seriously. As you go into the field, remember to take yourself seriously, to take what you do seriously, to represent the university in the most ethical way that you can. When you go, we go with you. You represent each and every one of us and all of your teachers and the institution as a whole. So please remember that you carry us wherever you go, and therefore we really want you to be the best version. And to also, I think it's very, very important that we cover this in case it doesn't get covered today. Take care of your mental health. Some of the things will be truly difficult to witness, especially if you haven't been in impoverished communities. Do not carry that. That is not for you to carry. If you need therapy, speak to your lecturer, get therapy. If you need debriefing, speak to your colleagues, get debriefing. Do not carry people's problems. Like I said, if you love animals, for example, you want to rescue every stray dog you see. Can you really? No. You really can't. So for that reason, I want you to make sure that as you go to the field for the first time this year, take care of your mental health. As you juggle fieldwork, school, personal life, family life, all of that, make time for you also, the individual. Don't leave all these other responsibilities that you lose who you are, or you forget who you are, or you don't pay attention to. You know how beautiful you all look today? Make intentional effort to look beautiful in the outside as well, and inside, not just appearance-wise. So take care of yourself. Please, please, please take care of your mental health. Please have fun. Have lots and lots of fun. And if there are problems, celebrate, because that's why we are needed in the community. We're all looking at you. Good. So, no. We are actually going to wait, and I think perhaps I need to, as soon as he gets in, invite you, Prof.
You might want to sit 2 seconds, so you should not rush.
But we were informed that he really needs to leave immediately after this, so yeah. But this is community development, colleagues. Do you know that sometimes you have a meeting that is scheduled for 9 o'clock and it starts at 3 p.m.? Like, really? Do you know that sometimes you schedule a meeting and nobody shows up? Like, nobody? Not because they don't like you, but because perhaps you don't know other dynamics that are going on. Do you know that sometimes on your way to the field, you get called somewhere else because there's a disaster or an agent needs somewhere else? It doesn't mean you are not good at your job. So what we do best in community development, we think on our feet and we're flexible. Flexibility should be your best friend. If you are the type of person that wants to know what the day will be like and you plan it the day before or even the month before, some people do that, you're going to have a tough time. Plan it, but be prepared for changes as and when they come, and be flexible. It's going to be a test of character, really, because I know there's some people who want to follow a program to the T. Community development. You will be there, and sometimes I think there was a mention of politics, and you are running a program with young people, and you're told the minister is outside and he wants to come in and address. The councillor is outside, the mayor is outside, and you're like, but this is not for them. So you become flexible. You become adaptable to change. You think on your feet. You're ready at any time for things to not go according to what you planned them to be. Sometimes communities are tough because they want to test you. Are you resilient? Because they've seen so many people come to them and not last long. So sometimes it's going to be tough to even feel welcome. You get there and nobody wants you. It's not they don't want you. They don't want people who are not there invested passionately in what they do.
I think we have to.
I was We have saved definitely the best for almost last. We should let you know. We've been waiting and anticipating, in anticipation, with such gratitude that you could make time from your very busy schedule to be here. So we're truly, truly happy to see you.
Thank you.
Truly. And we would like for you to be introduced, like the professional introduction. We're bringing our own very Deputy Dean, Prof. Florence, please may you come to the podium and introduce.
Good morning, Dr. Suleiman. I know it was a rush to get here. I hope you are able to catch your breath.
Yes, that was bad luck. Last time I was stuck 4.5 hours in George because we couldn't land at the airport.
We are very happy that you made it. Very
I'm
happy.
used to disasters.
Great, great. Welcome to UWC, to the Faculty of Community and Health Sciences, the Department of Social Service Professions, and more specifically to the oath-taking for our community development practitioners. I'm not going to call them students today. Welcome to the event, and thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. So it's my happy privilege to introduce you. I wouldn't be able to remember all of this. I'm going to have to read it. And I hope that you as students will be inspired. I want to say also, you do look very professional. Marco, you and your team have done a great job. Like Marishan said, we are watching. We do the quality assurance. We want to know that the work integrated learning is going to be done well. I have every faith that this group of students will represent the university with integrity and professionalism. So we're depending on you, young people. And we're also, so from my desk, I have to make sure that you are learning and that you are happy. Your well-being and your success is important. And so your lecturers have mentioned it as well, that you will experience lots of things in the field. We will be in touch with the staff to make sure that you are well looked after as well. All right, I was supposed to rush. Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman was born on the 7th of March, 1962 in Potchefstroom in South Africa's Northwest Province. He completed his schooling at Sastry College in Durban, matriculating in 1978. Before going on to study medicine at the University of KwaZulu-Natal Medical School, where he qualified as a medical doctor in 1984. In 1986, Dr. Suleiman opened a successful private medical practice in Pietermaritzburg. He was progressively involved in student affairs as the chairperson of the High School Affairs portfolio of the Muslim Student Affairs, involved in community affairs as head of the governing body at Mountain Rise Primary School in Pietermaritzburg, and subsequently the chair of the governing body association of 120 schools, involved in religious activity, giving many lectures at religious institutions throughout the country. In 1994, he made the life-changing decision to close his thriving practice, choosing instead to dedicate himself fully to humanitarian work through the Gift of the Givers Foundation, which he had founded in August 1992. The inspiration for the foundation came from a spiritual calling Dr. Suleiman received at the age of 30 from his spiritual teacher, Suki Sheikh Mohammed Safar Effendi Al-Jerai in Istanbul, Turkey. I hope I got that more or less right. The message instructed him to serve all people, regardless of race, religion, color, class, political affiliation, or geographical location. His spiritual mission has guided his work for over 3 decades and remains at the heart of the organization's ethos. Under his leadership, Gift of the Givers has grown into the largest disaster response organization of African origin and one of the most respected humanitarian agencies in the world. Over the past 33 years, the organization has achieved numerous world firsts and groundbreaking milestones, including implementing 21 categories of humanitarian and development projects, ranging from disaster response and healthcare to education, water provision, food security, and environmental sustainability. There's a whole nother page. Delivering humanitarian aid valued at over 7 billion rand, assisting millions of people in 47 countries, including South Africa, designing and developing in 1993 the world's first ever containerized mobile hospital deployed in Bosnia and described by CNN as comparable to the best hospitals in Europe. Creating the world's first containerized primary healthcare unit in 1994, becoming the first organization in South Africa to receive 60 million rand in government funding in 2003 for the design and delivery of 204,000 food parcels to vulnerable communities in KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape during a hunger crisis. Mitigating the effects of severe drought by drilling over 550 boreholes, providing life-saving water to communities and livestock, playing a crucial role during the COVID-19 pandemic, assisting 210 hospitals, delivering PPEs, scrubs, pulse oximeters, thermometers, sanitizers, 4,000 high-flow nasal oxygen and CPAP machines, upgrading hospital infrastructure, setting up dedicated COVID-19 facilities, drilling boreholes at hospitals, establishing fixed and mobile COVID-19 testing teams, leading a world-first search and rescue success by an African organization outside Africa in 2010, when the Gift of the Givers rescued 64-year-old Ina Zizi from the rubble 8 days after the catastrophic Haiti earthquake, despite a fractured hip, limited oxygen, no food, and no water. Have received in excess of 200 local and international awards, including presidential awards, 10 honorary doctorates, a Chancellor's Medal, the Paul Harris Award, South African of the Year, Social Justice Champion Award, Daily Trust African Years, as well as Philanthropist of the Year, and many, many others. Dr. Suleiman has been appointed by the President Cyril Ramaphosa to the Eminent Persons Group. Through his unwavering commitment to humanitarian service, Dr. Suleiman has helped shape Gift of the Givers into a leading force in disaster response and development, demonstrating what is possible when compassion, innovation, and community-driven solutions come together to address human suffering. Please join me in welcoming and thanking Dr. Suleiman for being here, present with our students today.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you to the young students. It's great that you've taken up a course that deals with human development. And the most important aspect about this course is that you are the source of hope. You need to remember that wherever you go, you are the source of hope. People attach to you, you become God himself. Because when people are vulnerable, they will attach to anything that will give life or hope or healing to their child, to their family, and everyone else. The danger of this course is you can develop a massive ego. You can become arrogant, and you can become very power drunk, and you can lose your way along the way. And it's very, very critical that you never lose your balance of human, because you're in a very powerful position when you serve people. I've seen it all over the world. I'm doing this for 36 years. You know, I do this 365 days, 24 hours a day. That's all I do for the last 36 years. And it's critical that you understand that your own emotions, your own personality, your own behavior is well in check. Otherwise, you're in the wrong field. The next point is that you can study and get 7 A's in matric. You can get come out in your course here. You can be highly intelligent, full of wisdom, but if you don't have compassion, you're in the wrong course. This field is about compassion, humility, dignity, service, commitment, faith, and spirituality. And that's where I would like to start. You see, Gift of the Givers is not my organization. I didn't get up one morning and say to myself, okay, I've got 3 private practices, now I'm bored, I need to do something else. It never worked that way. It was a spiritual calling from a great spiritual teacher in Istanbul, a teacher I know nothing about. The whole basis is spiritual. In 1986, I moved from Durban to Pietermaritzburg. I went into this block of apartments, and I was staying next to a butcher. An Afrikaner man from Pretoria also moved to Maritzburg. He went to the butcher, and he needed a doctor. Now, there's a lot of butchers in Maritzburg, and there's a lot of doctors in Maritzburg. But no doctor and butcher are next to each other. And he and I were neighbors. And that is a spiritual message. I started treating the Afrikaner guy, and one day he told me, I need to tell you a story. He said, I was in America before I came back home. And one day I was walking the streets of New York, and I was totally lost. Not in terms of direction, in terms of life challenges. What is it doing here? I lost faith, I lost purpose, I was depressed, I was down. Those are the type of people you're going to encounter in what you do. I have no direction. And from the corner of my eye, I see a man looking at me. I don't know who's this man, but my heart tells me to follow him. We have a teaching that when you're lost and you're not sure what to do, sit in meditation, reflect, and listen to your heart, not your head. And the heart will give you the right answer. So he follows the man. And the man walks into St. John the Divine. It's a huge church in New York, which I visited on my way to Haiti, where we took that lady out from, in Azizi, in January 2010. He said when he walked in the church, he got a shock. The man he was following was a Sufi, a Muslim, a Turk, a master in spirituality. And in the church, there were Christians of different denominations, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and people who had no real religion. It doesn't make them bad people. Religion does not make you a saint. Sometimes the worst monsters are those from religion. It's about your inner spirituality. Those people were searching. And in the church, the Sufi master makes a zikr. A zikr is Islamic practice where you chant God's names in Arabic. So you will say God's the one and only. In all the scriptures it's there. The one and only, kind, compassionate, merciful, eternal, absolute, cherisher, nourisher, sustainer, creator, evolver, and so it goes. And he said everybody participated in that. That's the next lesson for you. That when you go out in the field, you are not judging anybody. You don't have prejudice against religion or non-religion. If you're doing that, go to arts and culture or something else. You're in the wrong field, right? Because you need to deal with people according to their culture, according to their eating habits, according to their dress. You mess it up, you destroy them. Because they're already broken when the difficulty comes. And you insult them, it's like giving somebody from Africa biryani to eat. It's not going to work. You go to India and give them pap to eat, they'll think, what the hell is this? It's not going to work. You have to understand culture and religion and respect it, even if you don't follow it. Otherwise, you're in the wrong field. Okay? So in any case, we started talking, and he says, you now need to go to Istanbul. So I said, Mullah, I know you're not well. I'm treating you. When the hell am I going to go to Istanbul? I haven't seen Cape Town yet. He said something very profound. When there's something said with sincerity, it always comes true. I'm giving you a message in faith and spirituality between the lines, you're catching it, okay? He said, what God wills happens. There's a time and a place. His words came true. August 91, my wife and I landed up in Istanbul. What he saw in New York, we saw in Istanbul. What he saw in the church, we saw in the Halveti Sufi Jarahi order of Istanbul. What he saw from different faiths and religions and non-religion, we saw the same thing. We saw people from other countries, America, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Sweden, France, Germany, Africa, all over, mixed. There was something very unusual about this. There was no friction, no discord. Nobody say, my book is better than your book. I'm the right guy. My religion is the right one. Take a book and shove it down somebody's throat. You don't shove religion down anybody's throat. Religion is an internal thing that comes to you out of love. You shove it down somebody's throat, it's dictatorship. It's a useless exercise. It's not going to work. There's two aspects. One is faith, and one is spirituality. So faith, there's a problem. People say, I don't follow a book. So now am I prejudiced because I don't follow a book? So that's out. Spirituality, you got no excuse. Everybody should have spirituality with them. Because it's very simple. What you want for yourself, you should expect to do the same for other people. honest, kind, compassionate, give food, give water, give support, think carefully, don't insult, don't humiliate, don't disgrace. You want it for yourself? It's easy to work it out, what you should do to other people. So that's spirituality. It's a belief system, and you don't need a book. So everybody showed love. I fell in love with this teacher I don't even know. The following year, 6th August 92, Thursday night, 10 p.m. We just passed 34 years this month. The spiritual teacher, after the zikr ceremony, it's as if he got an instruction to give me an instruction, because there was no pre-planning. I didn't know anything about what was going to happen that night. He looked heavenwards, and then he looked at me, in the other side of the room. In fluent Turkish, and I don't speak a word of Turkish. I don't understand Turkish. But that night, I understood every single word that he said in Turkish. That's the power of spirituality. My son, I am not asking you. I'm instructing you to form an organization. It's not my organization. I told you that from the beginning. The name in Arabic will be Waqful Waqifin. Translated not exactly, can't make from Arabic into English. Very difficult. Gift of the givers. You will serve all people, of all races, all religions, all colors, all classes, all cultures, of any geographical location and of any political affiliation. But you will serve them unconditionally. You will expect nothing in return, not even a thank you. This is an instruction for you for the rest of your life. I was 30 years old. Now's the critical part that you guys got to follow. Serve people with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy. And remember, the dignity of man is foremost. So if someone is down, don't push them further. Hold them, elevate them. Wipe the tear of a grieving child. Caress the head of an orphan. Give words of good counsel to a widow. These things are free. They don't cost anything. Clothe the naked, feed the hungry, provide water to the thirsty. And in everything that you do, be the best at what you do. Not because of ego. Ego is destructive, but you're dealing with human life, human emotion, human suffering, and human difficulty. So treat them with love. My son, remember that whatever you do is done through you and not by you. You are not here because you're too clever. Did you make yourself? You didn't make yourself, did you? Intelligence was given to you. It's a gift to you. What you make, God's gift is that intelligence. What you make out of it and use it is your gift to God Almighty. And it starts off with your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, your neighbors, those down the street, and the next street, and the next street, and the next province. And the greatest gift you can give is respect. We need to return to that. We've lost the path. It's not about food and water and medicine, because to break somebody's heart is even worse than leaving them hungry. It's critical in what you do. That's why in this business, you can't insult. You've got to be very careful. I'll give you examples as I go along, what I'm talking about. Okay? I asked him, like, when you speak Turkish, I understand. And other people speak Turkish, I don't understand. What's going on here? He said, my son, when the hearts connect and the souls connect, the words become understandable. I asked him, like, what exactly is your instruction? What am I supposed to do? I'm a doctor. I got 3 practices in a place called Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. I work Monday to Sunday, after hours, public holidays, long weekends. Like, what am I supposed to do, and when am I going to do this? He looked me in the eye, like he looked me in the eye earlier, and he told me one line. You will know. Know what? What kind of answer is this? For 34 years, I do know what to do, what not to do, what to touch, and what not to touch. The moment I walked out of that place on 6 August 1992, that Thursday night, as I walked out the door, it came to me, respond to the civil war in Bosnia. My first project was not a soup kitchen or a feeding center or giving somebody water. My first project was a war zone. I went all alone and took 32 containers of aid into a war zone. 3 months later, in November 1992, took in 8 containers of winter items. And in 93, we designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital. No government, no agency in the world did it. He said, be the best. South African technology, South African engineering, and let's stop here. How many of you believe in your own country? How many of you believe in yourself? How many of you believe in Africa? Do we always have the answers from the north? It's time you believe in your continent, your people, and your country. Our greatest export is not gold and diamonds. Our greatest export is people. Nurses, doctors, teachers, accountants. Fortunately, 400,000 of them came back because this is the greatest country on earth. So, this happened. That what was the hospital in Bosnia was built, and South African engineering and South African technology. We delivered it. CNN filmed it on the 1st of February, 1994, and they said the South African containerized mobile hospital is equal to any of the best hospitals in Europe. They were not comparing a container to containers. They were comparing a container to proper hospitals. 28 state-of-the-art, theater, X-ray, ICU, sterilizations, burn unit, physiotherapy, dental unit, orthopedics, gynecology, pediatrics, and a whole lot of other things. A bus, an ambulance, a generator, and enough diesel to run the entire hospital for a whole year, and enough backup supplies to provide sutures, medicines, drips, everything for a whole year. When you do something in this business, make sure you think about it carefully. It's got to be sustainable. It's got to have results. It has to have impact, not something you just to tick the register. It doesn't work that way. Otherwise, you'll leave people in a worse situation than before you help them, because they'll be waiting for hope, and the medicines ran out, and the fuel ran out, and the people ran out, and they are worse off after getting help, and then they're stuck. Whatever field you do, doesn't have to be medicine. So it carries on. The first one I told you, it came to me, let's respond to the civil war in Bosnia. I'll give you another example. 2014, 6 January 2014, Al-Qaeda connected with us. Yolandi Koki, a South African, was taken hostage in 27 May 2013 with her husband. I'm not going to go into the details. We took out Yolandi Koki in 3 days. We don't have any degree, honors degree, or undergraduate degree, or honors, or master's, or PhD in hostage negotiations. Nobody trained us. In 3 days, we took out Al-Qaeda unharmed, no ransom, no conditions. No agency and no government agency, even if they paid $15 million as ransom, could do that in 3 days. The teacher said, you will know what to do. The proof comes over and over and over again. As part of our business, we blend religions, we blend nationalities, we blend people. So 12 January 2010, when the earthquake hit Haiti, in 40 seconds, 240,000 people died. The churches collapsed, the church schools collapsed, the boarding homes, the establishments collapsed. And on day 8, 20th January 2010, I don't know why I said it. He said, you will know. I told my teams on the other side, you're going to find somebody alive today. I just said it. I don't know why I said it. And 3 hours later, they said, we're hearing sounds in the rubble in the collapsed church, collapsed Catholic church. And a few hours later, they pull out alive. 64-year-old Enazizi. No oxygen, no food, no water, full of dust, and a fractured hip. Her first words to my team, I love God Almighty. Faith and spirituality kept her alive, nothing else. When you do this work, you are instruments of God Almighty, because he himself is not coming here. He's in management. He sends other people. So we are responsible for that kind of stuff. Her second words to my team was, I love you. All religions, all colors, non-religion, as humans. That's what we're supposed to do. The medical teams came behind, and they started crying. Why? What happened? Actually, the search and rescue team started crying. They went to the church, another church. They wiped the wall, they washed the floor, and they said, bring. Ethics is critical in what you do. They saw a patient, the #1 teams in the world, northern countries, operated on a guy and he bled to death. And then the kids came. they were amputated the wrong way. So the ankle was cut, we now had to cut the knee. If the wrist was gone, we had to cut the elbow. What chance have these kids got because you came to practice on some poor nation that nobody's going to fight back about? The karma will catch you at some point. But these kids were left totally disabled. My teams are not like that. They're not allowed. I'll shoot them outside myself. It's never going to happen. And then the medical teams came forward. And again, the teams from the first world came. They said, we can't do this. There's no x-ray. There's no C-arm. The hospital is damaged. So we said, what do you expect? It's an earthquake. The South African team stepped forward. They said, leave this to us. The Boermaka plan. You know the story? Yeah. And when we started working, to the credit of the first world teams, they said, if you want healing, if you want help, and you want survival, then go to the dream team. And the dream team is from Africa. I'll give you a spiritual story and a story of hope. Let's take Syria. Because every story's got a different element into it. 2012, December, I'm in Syria. I can't find a guy who speaks English. I can't find a medical guy. I'm about to leave and say, I can't do anything here. But I know these people need my help. And as I'm walking out, somebody shouts, there's Dr. Ahmed Gandour. So I said, is the guy a doctor? Spoke a little bit English, those people. And they said, yes, he's Dr. Gandour. So he comes, I said, you Dr. Gandour? He said, yes. I said, you speak English? He said, yes. I said, what are you? Cardiothoracic surgeon. But we do everything, because all the doctors are dead. So I said, okay. Have you got a building here that I can convert into an emergency hospital? He said, yes. The town got liberated 10 days ago. There's a building lying here. It's empty. So let's go. So we walked into the building. I said, Ahmed, this building is too small. He said, but you haven't started yet. I said, I need this building and the land across and 5 other buildings. He said, are you feeling well? You haven't started yet? What are you talking about? I said, I'm gift of the givers. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I said, can we go up? He said, I don't know. We have to find an engineer. Because I was a foreigner, wearing the shirt, walking to the building, and because the town got liberated 10 days ago, any foreigner they're suspicious about. Maybe it's a spy, maybe it's coming to do something here. But because I'm with Ahmed Gandour, it has to be safe because he's the hero of the area. So a guy is walking in the building, and a lot of people walked into the building because they were very curious who there I was. And so they're walking around, and the one guy said, I'm very sorry. I overheard your conversation. We need an engineer. I said, yes. He said, I'm an engineer. So I said, can you go up? He said, yes, 2 floors. I said, hey, wait, where did you study? He said, what did you mean? So I said, you didn't see the architectural drawing? You didn't see the steel structure? You didn't see the amount of concrete? You didn't see how thick the concrete was? You didn't see the styles of the steel? And you're telling me 2 floors? He said, hey, take it easy. I'm the guy that built this building. That was not the strange part. This man left that city of Darkush several years ago. 15 million people displaced in Syria, internally and externally. And this man left the place several years ago. He never came back. The day I needed an engineer, not any engineer, the engineer that built that building, in that hour, in that minute, he was there. If you don't understand spirituality, you will never understand anything. And I went up 2 floors, and I took the land across, and I took the 5 buildings. Everything I said came true. We run the biggest hospital in Syria now, in the north. 20,000 patients a month. Cardiac catheterization, dialysis, orthopedic surgery, general surgery, pediatrics, blood bank, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, dental unit, and the whole lot. We do everything. I've been running it for 14 years. So we go to the Philippines, Catholic country. Typhoon Haiyan hits. Everybody goes to a place called Palampon. I said, no, we're not going there. Sorry, everybody goes to a place called Tacloban. We said, we're not going there. We're going where nobody went. We're the first guys in the world that enters a place called Palampon. Now, after an earthquake or a typhoon, or some, people are generally depressed because everything is broken and destroyed. But we said, you guys have typhoons all the time. What's new? It's like Mozambique, they have cyclones all the time. And Madagascar. So we walk in, the entire town is depressed. You don't hear any noise, no car is driving, nobody's riding a bicycle, nobody's talking. So we ask the mayor, like, what's going on here? We know these things happen, but this is unusual. Otherwise, everybody's so dead. So the mayor said, we only got one hospital. And the hospital is damaged. And we have to shut it down. So where are the babies going to be born? Where are we going to treat the kids? What are we going to do about all the different pains? What are we going to do? I have big Afrikaner guys with me. You know, they're very good to dance. Solve the problem. In 72 hours, we replaced 1,000 square meters of roof. We fixed the walls, the windows, the doors, and the machines. The moment we knocked, but let me go between the lines. It's about hope. The moment we hit the first nail into the roof, suddenly, if you open your ears, the entire island, you could hear nails and hammers going around the entire island. If foreigners can come help us in our hospital, why can't we help ourselves? And there was a total awareness in the town itself. You see, you guys can go to gym, and you can train, and you can check your watch, how many steps you did every day. You can do all that kind of things. You can be physically fit, but if your mind is in a negative state, you will destroy yourself. You'll destroy everybody around you. You need a healthy, fresh, positive mind, and that's what faith and spirituality gives you. And everybody started knocking. We went to the hospital. The doctors were not paid for 3 months. The nurses were not paid for 3 months. The patients had no food. We put in food parcels. We paid the doctors. We paid the nurses. And the next morning they came, 7:30. White uniform, thing in the hair, properly ironed, big smile. The houses are gone. They got no house. But they came 7:30 and they smiled right till 4:30. It was infectious. Everybody in the hospital started smiling. Everybody was happy because you gave them hope. More than anything else, you gave them hope. And let me tell you the story about this now. Every country we've been to, we've intervened in 47 countries. Well, 46 without South Africa. The people tell us, you're different. So I said, like, we've got a Zulu guy, and a Xhosa guy, an Afrikaner guy, and a Hindu guy, and a Muslim guy. That? No, you're from South Africa. We know you're the Rainbow Nation, not that. Medical skill, your guys' skill is unmatched. Not that. Then what? Your attitude. Other people coming from first world countries, they look down upon us. They talk down to us. They don't want to touch us. We feel insulted. We have been traumatized. We lost our kids, our wives, our families, our houses, our cars, our school, our clinic, our water, our electricity, our businesses, our roads. Everything is gone. Where's the future? We're already destroyed. You guys come here and you talk to us gently. You touch us calmly. You listen to us. You hold our kids. You wipe their nose. You hug them. You kiss us. You take a food parcel, you put it in our hand, and you take us to our house doors. We haven't seen anything like this. But we will give you something that nobody in the world can give you. And this is a religious teaching. God says, you're not going to find me in the church and the mosque and the synagogue. You're going to find me among the people. With the sick, the old, the elderly, the hungry, the thirsty, the dying. We are those people. So when we make a prayer, God himself has promised he will answer that prayer. He's bound by his own promise. So we pray as these people that are hurt, that whatever happened to us must never happen to your people, your family, and your country. South Africa will never fail because we have the prayers of hundreds of millions of people without exaggeration, praying for the future of our people, our country, and our land because of the goodness that has been done all over because of South Africans. One more spiritual story, and then I'll give you one more South African local story, amazing story. So November 2022, my friend from Cape Town calls me and says, would you like to meet the new general manager of Turkish Airlines? He's moved from San Francisco to Cape Town. So I said, yes, in my business, logistics is important. I need to know everybody. And I need to have airline partners and people I can connect with. But I won't see him now. Let the universe tell me when I got to see him. So in November, I came to Cape Town. I didn't see him. December, I came several times. I didn't see him. January, I came several times. I didn't see him. February 1st, I'm jumping up the steps of the plane. And the voice came, call now. So I called. I said, is your friend here? I'll call you back in 2 minutes. Yes, he's here, 9:30, supper at Sarayo's restaurant in the waterfront. I get to the restaurant, me and Ali, we get there 9:30. and we talk, we have Turkish tea. Then I say, my friend, I need an airline partner. In the event an earthquake hits a country, I need an airline that will move fast, take in search and rescue people, search and rescue equipment, dogs, dog handlers, medical teams, medical equipment, tents, blankets, food, medicines, diapers, sanitary pads, energy biscuits, and the whole tutti. You take it, no red tape, no bureaucracy, no wasting time, and you don't lose any of my stuff. He said, done. 5 days later, 6 February 2023, the earthquake hits his country. Because of that, we were one of the first teams in the world to get there. 172 countries responded with 300 teams. We were one of the first in the world. The search and rescue teams went the first day, and the dog handlers and the dogs went the next day. When you get to a disaster, you are never too clever. We know what to do. We're very clever. We studied in UWC. No. There must be absolute humility. Understand the system. Fit within the system. Don't break the system, because when you leave, they're going to get messed up. You work within their system. Whether it's medical, whatever you guys want to do, it's fine. You work within the system. Yeah, we are brothers and sisters. We are from Africa. We came to help you. Where do you want us? Only 12 teams got selected to go to a place called Hatay, which was 99% wiped off the face of the earth. 11 teams from government. We were the only team in the world, NGO, that was part of the 11 teams, the 12th team, selected to go to Hatay. Same thing happened. Day 8, 13 February 2023. The South African dog, a Malinois, says you must go there. So we go to a 12-story pancake building, and we pull out alive a 90-year-old grandmother. Second time, on day 8. So my team said, rather than future, we must go on day 7. Don't go at the beginning. Or day 8 seems to be our lucky time. After we do that, remember I took a hospital to Bosnia from Turkey. Day 8, after we pull the person out, the Bosnian team leader comes to my team leader and he starts crying. So we said, like, what happened to you? So he takes out the wallet. From the wallet, there's a picture. He pulls out the picture. They said, you see this picture? There's a baby here and there's a woman. That baby, that's me. That woman is my mother. But what have got to do with us? He said, we know your name. Not my name, the name of the organization. So he said, what do you mean? He said, in 1993, you brought a hospital to Bosnia. I was born in that hospital. The power of spirituality. You got to have faith in this business. There's no other way to do this. The final story. Beaufort West called us September 2017. And they said, there's a crisis. All the engineers, all the hydrologists, the disaster management all came. There is no water. So I said, there's only no water if Gideon Groenewald, my hydrologist, says if there's no water. If he says there's no water, then there's no water. But if he says there's water, then there is water. So he goes, first week, second week. He said there is water, but he can't find it. First week, second week, drilling. The Friday of the third week. I'm in prostration, it's mosque time. I get up from prostration, and I send him a message. I said, Groenewald, you're going to find water today. Again, I don't know why I did that. Groenewald was also in prostration on the ground in Beaufort West. He gets up, he looks at the message, he tells the assistant, we're going to find water today. So the assistant said, where? We've been drilling here, nothing's happening. He picks up his head, he looks across the valley, he sees the mountain. On the mountain is an outline of a white horse. He said, die Witperd, there. The assistant said, you're crazy. You're not going to find the water there. He said, we're going there. So he goes. Get to a gate, and they said, no, this gate you can't go inside. This farmer is crazy, he's never going to allow you in. So he phones the manager, and the manager said, I don't know. Phone the farmer. I don't know if you're going to go through there or not. He phones the farmer. He doesn't give his name. Groenewald doesn't give his name. The farmer says, is this Gideon Groenewald? I've been waiting for your call. The combination on my lock on my gate is this number, press it and go in. So he goes in, sets the machine down, and as they're about to drill, the machine jumps. Sets it second time, it jumps again. Put it at that time, it jumps again. It tells, Alfred, just drill where this machine is jumping. 7,000 liters an hour. We drilled 7 boreholes. We pumped the water from the boreholes into the Khamkant Dam. We brought it from gravity into the city, into the reservoirs, and water came for everybody. You are not too clever. Everything is guided by God Almighty. I can go on and on and on. Your VC is waiting for me. So thank you very much. One more story. Okay, let me give a South African story before I go. A story of unity, how we work together, how important it is. Your money makes no difference. During COVID, you can go to the hospital and say, I'm a billionaire. I've got $1 billion in my account. I need oxygen. You think they're going to take a poor guy out of the bed and give you the bed? You will die outside the hospital with $1 billion in your account. God shows you, I'm the boss. Your money means nothing. So we go to Citrusdal 3 years ago. The floods hit Citrusdal and a whole lot of places in Cape Town. The bridge is gone. The rain is too strong. The helicopter can't fly. The boat can't go. The bridges are broken. The trucks can't go across. The ATM machines got no money. The people can't eat anything. Even if they got money, there's nothing to buy. No trucks have brought food into the town. They're desperate. So we work together. National government, provincial government, local government, all the different political parties, the pilots, the disaster management, the paramedics, the police, the RTI, the defense force, the farmers, and us. So we go to the bridge. And the engineers. And they say, not going to work. Truck is going to fall in the water. So Ali asks one of the farmers, like, isn't there like another farm? Maybe there's another bridge downriver or somewhere. So the one guy said, yeah, that farm, I got a bridge there. Let's go. So the whole army goes to the bridge. Engineers go to the bridge. Maybe we can do this. So I had to ask my truck driver, you got to take the chance. We may lose the truck and we may lose you, but you got to take the chance. But the drivers are very nice. They said, if you fall in the water, we'll take you out. Very helpful. They wait in the water for him. He took the chance. Ali, who rode? Rashid rode that truck, Ali? Huh? Hubert. So he drives the truck across and the bridge holds. Then the second driver drives, and the police drives, and everybody else drives. And as they go into the town, everybody starts screaming with jubilation. South Africans helping South Africans. No uniform, no titles, no logos. It doesn't matter who the hell you are. We are one South African nation, and we help South Africans. We need to have this mentality in our mind, because if you take the uniform off of a policeman, what is he? He's just a husband, or a father, or a son. Don't look at labels. We are all human. We all have the same needs: hunger, thirst, medical support, education, peace, security. We all have the same interests. Forget the uniforms. Forget the labels. Be impartial. Be unconditional. Be humane. Serve with compassion. If you do that, we're in the right field. Thank you very much.
Dr. Suleiman, please can we have your CV? We have a vacancy. You've been unemployed for 34 years now.
Yeah. If you
Please.
need a job, we are here.
We have the job already. May you please?
The plane and the road and the field. My staff don't see me. I know what offices.
Oh my goodness. May you please come forward? We have Mr. Aris here. He has a token of appreciation.
Sorry,
But
before we
also-
carry on, just give me
yeah.
the names of everybody here.
Oh,
Okay, sorry.
sorry, we came in a rush.
No, I
Please,
can
Mena,
rush.
yes.
Yeah, I'm Marishan van der Westhuizen, and I am supposed to manage them, but I'm not doing a great job. They manage themselves.
Well, that's great. That's the best form of management.
That's what we want.
Maria Florence from the Deputy Premier.
Nomtabo Lameni, lecturer.
Bashir, we've been talking the entire time.
Yeah, thank you.
And then Mr. Aris, Mr. Aris, Dr. Suleiman, may we kindly just have everyone come
no,
up here for a photo before you rush off?
No problem.
But Mr. Aris has something for you. Colleagues, can I ask in the meantime that we quietly just stand up, students?
Dr. Suleiman, are we going? Yeah. We really want to thank you. It's a great privilege for us to have you here. Yeah, you said you are led by your spirit and faith, and the fact that you answered when we called to have you here is also a sign that we've moved in faith and that we are the right place for you to be here at the right time. So thank you, Shukran, for being here. We appreciate it, and we have a small token.
Doesn't look very small.
Can I? Yeah, we just want to thank you for availing yourself.
Thank you guys as well.
let's take it back.
They've requested that we go outside by the step for the license.
I bring this all, you know that? I came here last year, and there's like an eating place outside here.
Yeah, yeah.
Always, always.
The lectures in that room on that side.
Yes.
Colleagues, may we please take a photo of the side, and then I think, and you've been waiting for so long, I think if you can actually use it.
I just want to put this somewhere that I don't, or maybe here, that we just don't lose it.
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
We take this painting here? Or
Okay,
that
yeah,
one?
we can take that one. Or
Which
do
one?
you think this one
Up
would
to
be?
you. You get this community, but we won't see it. They'll block it. Up to you.
No, we can take this one. We can put it under first.
But if it's through here. I'm in the bag here.
Where's the car park? This side.
This side of it.
So because, well, how are you going to go to the lecture?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying lecture VC.
But if it's through here.
I think.
Isn't there Janice saying life sciences or something outside?
Yes, it does. It does. School of Public Health. No, this is
Is everybody back? Where are the fellow students? Where are your colleagues? Please, can you help me gather them? What a message. What a message. That was just, I'm at a loss for words, and I usually have a lot of words to say. But this just, it was really, really good. Beyond good, actually. And please take time, once again, I believe that we're streaming the message. Please take time to listen to it again. It's very, very, very common for you to hear something and be impacted for a few seconds. But for something to get into your system, you've got to listen to it over and over again. You've got to read it over and over. Mr. Safodin. Please honor her after. Okay, so we are running a bit over time, but we just have one final thing before the vote of thanks. So Till, we have a third-year student who was here last year doing exactly what you were doing, but she's also got another surprise up her sleeve because she put herself out there. She's going to tell us where she's been and what really putting yourself out there does. So please help me welcome Zotile.
Future change makers. This is the exact moment when your theory becomes someone's real life. Today, you not only step into a new aspect of your academic and professional journey, but you take an oath to step into the mess, the magic, and the heavy lifting of human progress. A very humble greeting to our esteemed guests, the respected Community and Health Science faculty, the Department of Social Service Professions, and to you, dear colleagues. I am Zatile Ndawande, a third-year Bachelor of Community Development student, a Dean's Merit Awards honoree, an academic tutor, first-year mentor, 2025 Urban Poverty Business Initiative alumna, and 2026 Commonwealth Youth Parliamentarian. But behind the accolades is a once upon a time 18-year-old girl who accepted an offer to study a degree she knew nothing about and never thought she would ever do. The reality is that I did not choose community development. Community development chose me. It has not been easy. I've drowned myself in coffee, had numerous sleepless nights, one too many crash outs. The e-portfolios almost took me out and even questioned my life choice of being here. And yet still to think, I've not even scratched the surface of this profession. This is just the beginning. It has been quite the ride, a deeply rewarding one, and I would not choose to be anywhere else but here. When I was presented with the opportunity to stand before you today, I felt a deep sense of emotion and a tear of gratitude glistened in my eye. This was not a tear of sadness, but rather one of deep honor, profound privilege, and a weighty sense of responsibility. Just a year ago, I sat exactly where you are sitting today. I was filled with a mix of excitement, nervousness, curiosity, and anxiety about the unknown path that lie ahead. Standing here 1 year later, I can confidently share that the journey truly gets better. As second-year students, you're about to embark on a significant and transformational journey, a journey to engage deeply with vulnerable communities and address real, complex issues. It's easy to step in with the mindset of wanting to be their savior or heroic figure. However, Real community development lies in not positioning yourself as the expert who shows up to solve problems, but in embracing the role of being a facilitator. It's about walking alongside communities, understanding their needs with them to nurture sustainable solutions. Together, you will form relationships that are built on trust and mutual respect, paving the way for meaningful change. The oath that you will be taking today is more than just words read from paper, but a sacred promise made directly to the communities that you'll serve. This commitment forms a binding contract in which every word you articulate aligns with your conscience, with an unwavering dedication to the integrity in your professional journey. Truth be told, community development is a challenging path. More often than not, circumstances unfold in ways that defy your plans and expectations. Yet, it is during these moments that you must remember this oath, this commitment. Persevere, never walk away or give up when things get tough. To hold yourself to the high standards, principles, and ethics that are the foundations of this profession. As a third-year student, looking back on what led to both my academic and practical success, it comes down to 4 principles that I would like to share today. Firstly, it is not about the art of speaking, but rather the profound art of learning. As a student, this will help you catch key ideas during lectures, clarify your thoughts before forming an opinion, and gain much more insights by noticing what most miss during lectures. As a community development practitioner, the individuals that you will encounter within communities you will engage with are truly the experts of their own lives. They know their history, their challenges, their strengths, and their weaknesses far more than the insights that we can acquire through our roles as professionals. We are not there to speak for the marginalized voices, but to create a platform where the marginalized can speak their own truth. We work with the community and not for the community. Secondly, building genuine connections. You cannot and will not be able to succeed in this field alone. You need one another. As a student, this will enable you to network with your fellow colleagues as well as your lecturers. These networks ultimately become your net worth. I cannot stress the importance of consultations enough. Not only do you gain a wealth of insight and expertise from your lecturers, but you also understand that they are human as well, who walked so that we can run and thrive. They can be the gateway to enabling and allowing once-in-a-lifetime and life-changing opportunities to come your way. As community development practitioners, building genuine relationships helps build trust, enables one to fully understand the real needs and challenges within communities. This collaboration encourages people to work effectively together, and these strong bonds make initiatives last longer and empower communities to solve problems on their own. Thirdly, choose consistency over perfection. Along this journey as a student, you will encounter challenges. You may put in the hard work and yet yield no result. Similarly, as a community development practitioner, one can go to a community with a well-detailed plan as to how you'll conduct various initiatives, only for them to not work out. However, success does not come from giving up because perfection is not achieved. It comes from consistently showing up, being reminded of where you come from, where you are, and where you are going is what fuels your journey. Community development is built on consistent, small, steady steps and standing together when the community is faced with adversity. Lastly, the importance of participation. Success does not come from just sitting in a corner and waiting for opportunities to come your way. you need to actively participate. Sit in front, ask the difficult questions, engage, and most importantly, be present and be in the moment. The reality is that you will never know who's in the room and listening. One question that you may ask or an insight that you may share can change your life forever.
Please give us an example.
On the 14th of October 2025, we visited the Western Cape Provincial Parliament on our last practicum. Little did I know that participating throughout the proceedings of the day will later turn into an opportunity to represent the Parliament at the 13th Commonwealth Youth Parliament hosted by the Parliament of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. From the 26th to the 31st of July this year. And what an experience I had. As we prepare for real community development, the journey ahead is unknown, but the destination is thriving communities. When you walked into this institution, you were just students managing your own futures. But now you are change agents, service developers, access facilitators, and capacity builders, carrying the weight, dreams, hopes, and expectations of communities you will serve. Congratulations on reaching this milestone, and I wish you all the best as you embark on this new journey. I thank you.
You never know who's listening and watching. So going forward, let us remember that. There's something that she said that made me remember a movie that I watched, the Barbie movie, the human Barbie movie. Your lecturers walk so you can run. And in the Barbie movie, there's a part where she says, our mothers stop where they are so that we can see how far we've come from where they were. So you look back always and make sure you go further than whoever's behind you. So as you go into the field, be intentional about being better practitioners. Learn from our good and our not so good habits. Learn from our mistakes. Learn from the community's mistakes as well. And make sure that you are taking things forward instead of staying within the same pool where everyone else is. We have so much faith in you. We have come to a close. We have, and therefore would like to have Mbalenhle.
Okay. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. With these words, I would like to greet our distinguished guests, members of the faculty, lecturers, members of staff, parents, families, to the community of the University of the Western Cape, and most importantly, to my fellow colleagues. As we come to the close of this very special occasion, I would like to take a moment to reflect on what this day represents. These words by Archbishop Desmond Tutu feel particularly fitting for a day such as this, because today reminds us that none of us walk this journey alone. Looking around this room, it is important to appreciate what this day represents. Behind every person sitting here is a journey. The late nights, the challenges, the moments of doubt, and the people who supported us along the way. And today we get to celebrate how far that journey has brought us. As we celebrate Women's Month, we are also reminded of the strength of the people who shape our journeys. We honor the women who have supported, encouraged, guided, and inspired us in our families, our communities, and our places of learning. Their courage, resilience, and compassion remind us of the kind of people we aspire to become. As future community development practitioners, today's oath is more than simply words. It represents a commitment to people and communities, a commitment to listen, to empower, to recognize strengths, to create opportunities, and to contribute towards meaningful and sustainable change. On that note, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who made today's ceremony possible. To our distinguished guests, thank you for honoring us with your presence and for taking the time to celebrate this important milestone with us. Your presence has made this occasion even more meaningful. To our lecturers and members of staff, thank you for the knowledge, guidance, patience, and encouragement you have given us throughout our journey. Your contribution extends far beyond the lecture rooms, and we truly appreciate the role you have played in helping shape us into the professionals we are becoming. To our families and loved ones behind the screens, thank you for being there for us. Behind many of the students standing here today are people who encouraged us when we were tired, reminded us to keep going when things became difficult, and celebrated our achievements along the way. This moment belongs to you too. To everyone involved in the planning and organization of today's oath-taking ceremony, thank you for the time, effort, and dedication that went into making this day possible. We appreciate every detail, whether seen or unseen. Finally, to my fellow colleagues, congratulations. I took a pause right there because this journey has not been easy. There were long nights, demanding assignments, difficult examinations, moments of uncertainty, and days when simply showing up was an achievement, but somehow we kept going. Today we stand here having taken another important step towards the professionals we hope to become. Take a moment to be proud of yourselves. Be proud of the obstacles you have overcome, the growth you have experienced, and the person you are becoming. May we never forget that community development is ultimately about people. May we always approach communities with humility, listen before we act, recognize the strengths that already exist within communities, and remember that meaningful change happens when we work together. As we leave here today and continue along with our different paths, may we carry us the lessons, relationships, and memories that brought us to this moment. And yes, from now, when we look back at this day, I hope we remember not only the oath we took, but the people we were when we took it, hopeful, determined, perhaps uncertain about what lies ahead, but brave enough to take the next step. Once again, thank you to everyone who has been part of making today's ceremony possible. Congratulations to us all. May we carry this oath not only in our words, but in the way we live, serve, and work with others. Thank you.
Okay, you've been very patient, very long. I wanted to just make use of this opportunity, and I'm quite emotional. We don't often have the opportunity to spend a morning with you guys. And I think I speak on behalf of every staff member here, that was maybe the best way of ending a week for us to spend. We are also inspired by you. And I think we don't tell you that enough. But for me, it was a privilege to spend this morning with you. And then I want to really say hats off to your lecturers. Mr. Smith and Timo, I am in awe of what you do and the commitment and your example. And yes, they're not perfect, but they're bloody good. And so I wanted to give them a hand before we say. Thank you, colleagues, for what you do for this wonderful group of young people. Okay, that is it from me. Okay, I have a different. No, I have a different one. That's easier. Okay? Left, left, right, right, middle, middle, poof. I think things more simple and achievable.
I need to compose myself.
We should not engage.
No. Okay, so just two things. The first one is that we are so grateful to our HOD and the rest of the team, but particularly the HOD and finance and deputy HOD. They graciously stayed with us, but gave us also a little bit of money for some snacks. Thank you very much. So you will have a snack before you leave. However, where is our photographer? Is she still waiting for you? Probably not. If that's the case, can I ask all staff members to remain seated and that students take your bags? Please, may I request that you leave nothing on the table, including the water bottle in front of you. If it's empty, throw it in the bin. And then when you exit, you're going to exit the side. You're going to find students, there's a table, please take one each. Not one, etc. One. One pack you're probably going to be given. Quietly exit this side, and then everybody please remain. If for any reason the photographer is waiting for you outside, you know the drill. It's just a students-only photo. Please congregate on the stairs once you're done. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.